teaching without talking. He denies nothing to the teeming things. He rears them, but lays no claim to them. He does his work, but sets no store by it. He accomplishes his task, but does not dwell upon it. And yet, it is just because he does not dwell on it that nobody can ever take it away from him. As always, man.
I can't hear you, honey.
Good. Alright, let's see now. How about now? Can you hear me?
It seems a little bit better, but it's going in and out still. I don't know. It seems like you might be in a bad area.
Yeah. I just switched over to my Wi-Fi. Is it better or the same?
Better than that. Go ahead, brother. You got the floor.
Okay, cool. Thanks. But no, I'll start over. So, Bima, no, actually, I said I actually do believe in reparations. Of course, I think everybody actually believes in reparations. I think we do, to your question about the study, I think, because you said whatever that bill is, whatever. So we do have a blueprint for that. I don't think we need a study for it. It's just the issue is that I think it's going to be essentially impossible to tie modern day Black people to the ills of slavery in the context of losses. Meaning that yes, we know we just
to remain undisturbed. Therefore, the sage's way of governing begins by emptying the heart of desires, filling the belly with food, weakening the ambitions, toughening the bones. In this way, he will cause the people to remain without knowledge and without desire, and prevent of knowing once from any adu. Practice not adu, and everything will be in order. The Tao is like an empty bowl, which in being used can never be filled up fathomless. It seems to be the origin of all things. It blunts all sharp edges. It unties all tangles. It harmonizes all lights. It unites the world into one whole hidden in the deeps. Yet it seems to exist forever. I do not know whose child it is. It seems to be the common ancestor of all, the father of things. Heaven and earth is not sentimental. It treats all things as straw dogs. The sage is not sentimental. He treats all his people as straw dogs between heaven and earth. There seems to be a bellows. It is empty, and yet it is inexhaustible. The more it works, the more comes out of it. No amount of words can fathom it. Better look for it within you. The spirit of the fountain dies not. It is called the mysterious feminine. The doorway of the mysterious feminine is called the root of heaven and earth. Lingering like gossamer, it is only a hint of existence. And yet, when you draw upon it, it is inexhaustible. Strive with others, you will be free from blame. Ask the whole into fullness for a better word to stop in time. Keep on beating and sharpening a sword, and the edge cannot be preserved for long. Fill your house with gold and jade, and it can no longer be guarded. Set store by your riches and honor, and desire.
If you are walking lost in wonder, empty of self, and mindful of reality, and suddenly you interrupt this peace to exclaim, "How beautiful is this tree! How magnificent this field!" You forfeit life. The intrusion of self and the imposing of judgment separates you from reality and snares you in the net of words. Be still and know. Embrace it all in silence. Be careful with words. C-O-W gives no milk. M-A-N-U-R-E has no stench. L-O-V-E knows no passion. Mistake words for truth, and you exile yourself from reality. Others may follow and drink the poison of your confusion. They will die and truth will be defiled. Hillel and Shammai received the teaching from Shemaiah and Avtalion. Hillel said, "Be disciples of Aaron, loving peace and acting peacefully, loving people and drawing them to reality. Pursue, decrease knowledge. Don't mistake knowledge for talk. One who knows acts knowingly, fools talk, and their talk too often fools. Those who cease to learn cease to live. Life is learning, attending to reality. Anything less is the sleepwalk of death. Those who misuse knowledge shall not endure, for only reality endures. If you are not attending to reality, where are you? If I am only for myself, who will be for me? If I am only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? Attend to reality diligently, say little and do much, receive all people with kindness, make yourself a sage, rely upon reality, not authority, free yourself from crippling self-consciousness, attend to each moment and act without hesitation. Do not tithe by guesswork. Justice is not a matter of whim. Today you may feel generous. Tomorrow you may feel stingy. Give what is just because it is just. I grew up among the sages. All my life I listened to their words. Yet I have found nothing better than silence. Study is not the goal. Doing is do not mistake talk for action. Pity fills no stomach. Compassion builds no house. Understanding is not yet justice. Whoever multiplies words causes confusion. The truth that can be spoken is not the ultimate truth. Ultimate truth is wordless. The silence within the silence. More than the absence of speech, more than the absence of words, ultimate truth is the seamless being in place that comes with attending to reality. The world stands upon three things: upon truth, upon peace, upon justice. Speak truth each to the other, establish peace, and render honest judgment in your gates. What is the right path for a person to follow? One that honors both self and other. Be attentive in all you do. Do not judge one deed small and another great. great, for you cannot always know their significance. Be virtuous, even if virtue is costly. Avoid sin, even if sin is profitable. Remember three things and you will not power. If your deeds shouldn't be known, perhaps they shouldn't be done. If your words shouldn't be shared, perhaps they shouldn't be spoken. Act with attention, for all your deeds have consequence. Engrossed in study, engaged in good work, one forgets selfish desire. Learning without labor is ban. It does nothing to better the world. Labor without learning is empty. It does nothing to enlighten the world. If employed by the community, labor for the people and not for power. If you carry on the good work of your predecessors, their merit will sustain you. Their righteousness will endure through you. And you will be credited with great success, as if you had accomplished the task alone. Be wary of those in power, for their friendship is often a matter of convenience. They appear as friends when it suits them, but they will not stand by you in time of need. Desire only that which has already been given. Want only that which you already have. As a river empties into the ocean, empty yourself into reality. When you are empty into reality, you are filled with compassion, desiring only justice. When you desire only justice, the will of reality becomes your will. When you are filled with compassion, there is
Tao can be talked about, but not the eternal Tao. Names can be named, but not the eternal name. As the origin of heaven and earth, it is nameless. As the mother of all things, it is nameable. So as ever hidden, we should look at its inner essence. When all the world recognizes beauty as beauty, this in itself is ugliness. When all the world recognizes good as good, this in itself is evil. Indeed, the hidden and the manifest give birth to each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short exhibit each other. High and low set measure to each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Back and front follow each other. Therefore, the sage manages his affairs without ado and spreads his teaching without talking. He denies nothing to the teeming things. He rears them but lays no claim to them. He does his work but sets no store by it. He accomplishes his task but does not dwell upon it. And yet it is just because he does not dwell on We should look at its outer aspects. These two flow from the same source, though differently named, and both are called mysteries. The mystery of mysteries is the door of all essence. By not exalting the talented, you will cause the people to cease from rivalry. And advertising. By not prizing goods hard to get, you will cause the people to cease from robbing and stealing. By not displaying what is desirable, you will cause the people's hearts to remain undisturbed. Therefore, the sage's way of governing begins talked about, but not the eternal tongue. Names can be named, but not the eternal name. As the origin of heaven and earth, it is nameless. As the mother of all things, it is nameable. So, as ever hidden, we should look at its innocence. When all the world recognizes beauty as beauty, the sin itself is ugliness. When all the world recognizes good as good, this sin itself is evil. Indeed, the hidden and the manifest give birth to each other. Difficult and easy complement each other. Long and short exhibit each other. High and low set measure to each other. Voice and sound harmonize each other. Back and front follow each other. Therefore, the sage manages his affairs without ado and spreads his teaching without talking. He denies nothing to the teeming things. He rears them but lays no claim to them. He does his work but sets no store by it. He accomplishes his task but does not dwell upon it. And yet it is just because he does not dwell on it that nobody can ever take it away from him. As always manifest, we should look at its outer aspects. These two flow from the same source, though differently named, and both are called mysteries. The mystery of mysteries is the door of all essence. By not exalting the talented, you will cause the people to cease from rivalry and contention. By not prizing goods hard to get, you will cause the people to cease from robbing and stealing. By not displaying what is desirable, you will cause the people's hearts to remain undisturbed. Therefore, the sage's way of governing begins by a dare the heart of desires, filling the belly with food, weakening the ambitions, toughening the bones. In this way, he will cause the people to remain without knowledge and without desire, and prevent the knowing ones from any ado. Practice not ado, and everything will be in order. The Tao is like an empty bowl, which in being used can never be filled up fathomless. It seems to be the origin of all things. It blunts all sharp edges. It unties all tangles. It harmonizes all lights. It unites the world into one whole, hidden in the deeps. Yet it seems to exist forever. I do not know whose child it is. It seems to be the common ancestor of all, the father of things. Heaven and earth is not sentimental. It treats all things as straw dogs. The sage is not sentimental. He treats all his people as straw dogs. Between heaven and earth, there seems to be a balance. It is empty, and yet it is inexhaustible. The more it works, the more comes out of it. Heaven and earth, lingering like gossamer. It is only a hint of existence, and yet when you draw upon it, it is inexhaustible. Therefore, the saved wants to remain behind, but finds himself at the head of others, reckons himself out, but finds himself safe and secure. Is it not because he is selfless that his self is real?
Point. That's the point I was making.
Yeah,
Doesn't
it's
matter
like
how much money they give you, you're still going to come back and beg for more.
Probably Oprah supports black
No, this shit is.
reparations.
No, you just
So fucking
proved my
stupid.
point. That's just fucking
This
wild.
guy, why are we talking to somebody who on a low, your low IQ is so fucking low, boy? Shut up, bro. So again, anything that you're
He's
going to
made a lot more sense than you have, man. You
I'm gonna vote for Newsom. I'm gonna volunteer for him. I'm gonna open up that fucking border unless you get.
I don't think you will.
No,
I
let's
think
make
you're
a
full of
deal.
shit.
Let's make an art. Let's call art of the deal, right? Let's make a deal. Either you're going to support black reparations, or I'm going to be for AOC and Newsom all day long. Now make a
do it. I pledge.
Which was more
When
important?
you use the word black, you're cut from the
I
conversation,
love it. I
dumbass.
love it.
How much money do they have, Nathan?
Them with
How
the
much
word,
money do
you're
they
cut
have,
from
Nathan?
the
Let's see who's
conversation.
going to make it out of this. Who's going to make it out of this on top? Now,
There's
you want this country to go
documentation.
How much money does the
Call
DNC
yourself
have?
black.
to go complete.
Hey, you know what's funny? People validate the term black, although if you go over to Africa and say you're black
No.
African American, they just fucking laugh at you. They're like, you're not black, you're just lost. You don't know where you're from.
Who cares about what an African nigga think? What niggas and black people call it?
No,
Here, nigga.
because it's
So
true.
fucking hard.
Black is nothing.
Nigga, to you, nigga, to you.
Black
That's
is
our
nothing.
Shit, nigga. That's our shit. It is what it is. Niggas know when they say black, what the
He's
fuck is
slow.
up. That's why we the most
Don't
emulated, we
slow.
the most copied. We
You're
got
not on the
niggas taking in their
spectrum,
boots,
bro.
nigga.
You're not on the spectrum, though. Your spectrum is broken permanently. You're fucking stupid. Let's move on.
Appreciate the compliment, bro. I'm just literal. You're not.
You will see that just because you coddle up to them niggas on the right, you're not gonna find no home, bro.
You understand that? We're all individuals, because the funny part is people crap black. Although if you look down throughout your family history, you'll notice you got Asian, you got Irish in you, you got German in you. So where the fuck does this fucking race-based shit comes from? Oh, it comes from
Because where was them
1867.
niggas at when we was getting through it, bro? Where was them
It
niggas at?
comes from the Bacon's Rebellion in 1867, because prior to that we overthrew the government and they said, oh no, they cannot have this happen again. So now they had to create race to where you got black and white, to where it made it look like white people were more honorable than people of color. It's true. Go look it up yourself, dumbass.
Hey,
It's
check
called
this
Bacon's
out. You know
Rebellion.
what's wild? You can have a white person whose parents moved here in the 70s or the 80s. Say they more
If
American
I
than
have
you.
an IQ level that's so low, go look up Bacon's Rebellion.
He got like a dodo burger IQ.
Nathan, what is Bacon's Rebellion? Does anyone in the room on stage know what the Bacon's Rebellion is?
Off topic. Move him to the Google. Just do this trick.
No, I'm serious.
You're the craziest guy on
You know what
here.
Bacon's Revolution is? Bacon's Rebellion. Like,
Okay, we need one mic, man. The snipers checking in, man. I'm tired of all y'all interrupted. I'm checking in. I got my gun on me. I'm finna start sniping y'all niggas, bro.
Bang, bang.
What they do? What's up with my
I'm checked
niggas?
in, bro.
What's up with my guys, man? What's going on?
What up, what
How
up?
long?
Threeski, what's going on, bro? What's
Straight
up?
to the mark. That's a great question. Does the room know what Bacon's Rebellion is? Because maybe if the room knew the facts of the Bacon's Rebellion, they would understand why I'm so fucking pissed off. So if you know about the Bacon's Rebellion, why would you validate something that was purposely designed to create what's happening now?
So you're talking about
That's crazy as
classification. We're
fuck.
talking about freaking reparations and the various forms and how we can get it at least looked at. And you're talking about classification right now. You know how it goes. If you're such American, you know how it goes.
Oh, Booker T. Washington ass.
So real quick, I asked
Oh, shit, all my
Kappa
niggas
a
in
question a
here.
second ago. Just like
Ms. Fifi, but I answered the question. So, and by the way, just to be good faith, I'm not saying you should accept the results of this review, because clearly you will examine it yourself and see what logical conclusion they drew. I'm open to the idea that there could be some reparations given. I said it from the jump, right? I'm not totally against reparations. So they could basically specify some cases of reparations for certain people. I'd be open to it, especially, based on the pathology I use to get to that conclusion. With that being said, I think what likely would happen is there will be a very fringe percent of blacks who would actually get it, which would still be not satisfiable to the majority, but that's likely going to be the case because I think at this point in time, there's rare cases of black people who can actually tie themselves directly to that lineage, let alone any losses that was, sustained from slavery. But yeah, I just think that most people won't agree with the outcome no matter what it's going to be. They say they're going to give black people $5 million a piece, right? Just $5 million a piece. If black people fuck up that money, right? We're still going to say that's not enough because they should have did social systems. They should give us more money. Like it's just never going to fucking end. You gotta know that.
Man, hold on. Reparations was never about money though, Free. Like, what are y'all niggas talking about? Like, what?
Now I'm saying whatever it's about, whatever it is.
Reparations was never about money. It was all about giving us our infrastructure and land back. So if black people fucked up the infrastructure and land, that would be on them, brother. What are we talking about, bro?
Hold on. What do you mean our land back? What do you mean?
What do you mean our land back? What the fuck are you talking about?
Our land from where?
So redlining didn't happen? Hello?
Yeah,
do you not know history, my nigga?
Hold on, time out.
Do you not know history, my nigga?
I do. You understand redlining stopped people taking land, not losing it. So you didn't have a chance. To your argument, if there was a black person that was discriminated from that, then I'd be okay with that particular group getting it. But all black people didn't do.
Where do they be making these cool niggas from? I'll be coming from.
Jesus Christ.
Where the fuck? Where you from, Free?
Y'all niggas are so fucking retarded. It doesn't matter what I can reason. I don't have to. It doesn't matter.
Where are you?
I can reason like you can reason. It doesn't matter, bro.
Where are you from?
This is low IQ. They always trying to
Where are you from? No, I'm not even trying to argue with you.
Bro.
I'm not even trying to argue with you. Because
tell me why
if you shut the fuck up, I would tell you. The reason why I'm asking you where you are from, brother, is because I'm trying to figure out why you even have this thinking process and ideologies that you have. Where the fuck did you come from?
Because I can reason information, brother. I don't have to fucking be where you're from. That's stupid.
It sounds like you came out of a white man's booty hole, nigga.
Right.
Fuck is we talking about? Get out the white man's ass.
Based on your fucking logic, you can't even ask for reparations because you never been in fucking government. You wasn't back then, so you didn't come from that space. So you can't even talk about it. That's your stupid fucking logic. You're not there. You wasn't those people. So how the fuck you talking about it?
I never said. I literally just.
Exactly, because it's fucking dumb. It's
No, it's not dumb. You just yelling like a little bitch. So I gotta yell with you.
I don't have to fuck your farm in order to reason, stupid.
Bro, the fuck up, man.
That's stupid. This is why shit, man. This is why we can have a conversation.
Hey, bro, I don't even know why we let these type of niggas even speak, brother.
I don't know why the fuck you speaking. Just say something fucking dumb.
Hey guys,
what's going on, bro?
Mr. Washington, you don't need to come up here and have a struggle session with one of your brothers, okay?
Hey, shut the fuck up.
You shut the fuck up. I have a mod badge, bitch. I will shut your monkey mouth and put you in the goo.
You orange-looking motherfucker. You chimping out. Relax, Pepe.
Stop chimping out.
Now you're gonna try and use it on me.
Washington, we can't have a conversation if all our conversation boil down to our history, brother. You can reason, I can reason. Let's talk about what it is. Right? We have different backgrounds. But
who the fuck is talking? What's happening?
I don't know. Somebody's super low.
Why are you at?
Thor, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
So one thing that wasn't acknowledged was they took land. They didn't prevent you from buying land. Even Andrew DeCopo and Gail King spoke about it just a few years ago when you speak about redlining. So you can read it as if we're still under oppression. You could go out the whole hood right now if you want to. They can't stop you. This is why I say why don't before you speak about creating a family trust. Before you create about getting reparations, why aren't people speaking about creating a trust Because whenever you create the land trust and you have the land bank, et cetera, that you create, they can't take shit from you because you're doing it as a group. There used to be a lady on there 3 years ago. Her name was Beverly Burgess. She said they have millions and billions of dollars for us waiting, although we don't go as a collective to make these things happen. A great example is how people come into the United States and become rich within 5 years. They do things as a collective. One person gets rich, then they invest in the next person, invest in the next person. I watch what BAM shows, but no one really shows up to the rooms when BAM holds rooms and shows you the solutions. So where I'm like, oh, most people, it's individualism. People don't give a fuck about collaboration. They just want some shit to complain about. Like this shit, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So
Look at my PTR.
man. So
You never know when your phone might ring and you might hear, hello, this is President Trump on the other side of the call. And he signaled in that interview that he's prepared to allow economic pressure on Iran to mount as opposed to ordering a new military offensive, even as Iran continues to defy the United States. So it seems like a long time ago, but it wasn't. Just a week ago, the president was on the verge of ordering a return to a major combat operation in Iran. In this interview with Axios, perhaps atypically, he made no new military threats. He also didn't express any anger or frustration about the fact that Iran has been holding up an announcement on a deal with Oman to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Also on the weekend, Iran issued a new list of demands to allow shipping through the strait. I'm going to get to that in a moment. The president used this terminology to describe the new U.S. strategy. Quote, we are low-keying it. Quote, we are only semi-negotiating with them. Now, I don't know what that means. Semi-negotiating. Maybe this explains the differing outlooks of the Iranians and the Americans over the past weeks over negotiations. When the United States has said we're in negotiations with them, and the Iranians say they're not in negotiations with us. We are only semi-negotiating with them. Continuing his quote, we are just watching Iran with its huge inflation and the fact that they have no money. Excuse me. He stressed that Iran, quote, is in very bad shape economically and has no money to pay its troops. The U.S. naval blockade, the president had told Axios, has exacerbated the Iranian regime's economic crisis. At the same time, and I'm going to update this after I tell you what he said in this interview just yesterday that with oil down to slightly over $75 a barrel, U.S. consumers are feeling less pain from the war. Today, it's above 80. Just saying. But, of course, it fluctuates. But his point to this, in his quote, it will work out, it always works out, it's like a chess game. That's what he said about the back and forth with Iran. So, an agreement governing traffic in the Strait of Hormuz was negotiated. Iran, Oman, and somehow the United States was involved in those negotiations. Maybe from the U.S. view, it was semi-negotiations based on what the president is now saying. But as part of that new deal, Iran would be given partial control over traffic in the Strait. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do I need to point out that that is something that it did not have before the war? So this is why I ask, has Iran outplayed Trump? Maybe not, but it's worth questioning. Qatari and Pakistani mediators have expressed confidence that the deal would be announced last week, but since then its prospects have seemed to fade.
U.S. officials are now also saying that there are growing disagreements inside the Iranian regime. Well, the United States has been saying this all along. One camp led by the president of Iran, according to U.S. officials, is extremely worried about an economic collapse and believes Iran needs to reach a deal with the United States. But the commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard is rejecting any concessions. And frankly, I'm interested in hearing from Alan in just a moment. Who really holds the power there, the president or the Revolutionary Guard? I have my suspicions, but I'd love to hear what Alan has to say about that. On Saturday, the head of Iran's Supreme National Security Council laid out new terms for reopening the strait. This is on top of what was negotiated with Oman as the mediator. In that statement, he said that in order for the strait to reopen, listen to these conditions, folks. The United States must never threaten nor insult Iran in any language. Permanently end the war against Iran and Iran's allies in Lebanon, Gaza, Yemen, and Iraq. And lift the naval blockade and withdraw military forces from the surroundings of Iran. Recognizing that we don't know for sure who's speaking on behalf of Iran, whether it's this guy, the head of the council, the Revolutionary Guard, or the president of Iran, and recognizing that we are getting mixed messages from Iran, one might come to a conclusion that the president was outplayed by Iran. Or one might come to the conclusion that the president, recognizing that the American people want out of this conflict, has found a way to withdraw. Now, something that's not mentioned in this Axios article, in addition to not mentioning any threats of additional military action, which obviously have fallen on deaf ears in Tehran, I don't see anything here. I don't hear anything from the administration at all about their nuclear capabilities. I don't think it was that long ago that the president said that's a non-negotiable, that even what he called the nuclear dust from the attacks last year must be accounted for, much less accounting for any other nuclear aspirations and developments that may be going on in Iran right now, surreptitiously and probably subterraneanly. No mention of that at all. Now, the president today in a Truth Social announced that he was and I don't know how he's going to collect, by the way. He's demanding reparations from Iran to all persons and their families who were killed or gravely injured by Iran. So this is his new manner of going after them economically as opposed to militarily. I don't know. Obviously, by asking the question, I do question whether the president has been outplayed by Iran. Happy to hear people suggest that that's not the case. I'd feel a lot better if somebody could suggest that's not the case. So with that, I'll start calling people in the order in which I see them on the stage. And today that order begins with Alan, followed by Scott.
Hello, Mr. Gary. God bless you for all the hard work you do. And hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well wherever you are and you had a peaceful weekend. I think in the surface, still it shows President Trump being played by Iran. But it's not just Iran. Iran is still every day past. I get this stronger and the stronger feeling. Iran had a whole bunch of proxies, which, thanks to Israel, took care of most of them. But Iran is the proxy for the China and the Russia. I don't know, Gary, you heard about a couple of days prior to weekend, the whole right of Caspian Sea given to Russia for good, for all those stuff he did, and Iran doing financially draining United States, and they know this government has to answer to the people one way or another, and the Iranian regime doesn't have to answer to any of these. As a citizen, the only way they can do is execution and the straight shoot in the heart or eyes or head. But it's extremely heartbreaking. They wants to pay for all those loss of individual human being. I thought I grow up with this, under this notion. No amount of money can buy human lives. But looks like they put in a price on it, and they want to slip a few dollars to the mothers and the fathers, which is heartbreaking. I told you before, last week, I see my cousin after 60 years. The stories she told me, it's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. I thought I am just living in some place I have no idea what's going on. The amount of people got hurt, and this thing, they're using the same tactic in Iran. Iran regime says, if this regime goes, the chaos is going to happen. Al Qaeda is going to come and eat you guys alive. Hezbollah come in and eat you alive. And in the meantime, they're doing all the killing, they're doing all the eating. And then outside, especially the Gulf countries, they said, if this regime goes, chaos is going to hit the Middle East. So they're using a scare tactic. Maybe Trump has something under his sleeve, nobody knows. And maybe Iran, I'm sure Iran has. Iran is not, you mentioned who they ordered, there is still unknown. Since Israel took care of most of the leaders, all the leaders, they went under the ground, and the mice is too many of them. First we had, Ali Khamenei, they call him mice because he lived in the holes for almost 2, 3, 4 years. Now the decision maker, they are hiding somewhere. Nobody knows what it is. And the people up front, you see them. I don't want to tell you. One day they say something, the next day one comes and they say, no, he was wrong. If they say a wrong word, then they house arrest them or jail them, or if it's too dangerous, they're going to take care of them. It has started good, but it's going to the wrong way. I still, a lot of people, they believe in Trump. It has the winning card in his hand. They doing this, they doing that. But in the meantime, tremendous amount of life is going. They execute in 2023 years young people. If that doctor treat any of these injured and they go kill them in the hospital, and I don't know where the hell is the human rights, where the hell the UN is, but hey, they got Russia and they got China behind them, and North Korea doing all this stuff with them, and sanction is not going to help. They had many ways through many years, they had sanction, but they have a way to transfer money through Dubai and
So given all of this, Alan, everything that you say, has he been outplayed?
He's outplayed so far, yeah.
And what about who's in charge? Because it seems like the United States isn't even certain who they're negotiating with.
They have nobody, as I said, there's nobody we know is on charge, but there are groups. I think there's still the head of, the Revolutionary Guard. Revolutionary Guard has been taking over Iran for many years. And I'm sure, despite of the top front head, which, few of them, they died already, but there are some under the ground, and they are the one they call all the shots. There's nobody left. I mean, president don't have no power. Iran president never had any power. Supreme leader
So the
always has the
Revolutionary
power.
Guard is who's really in charge.
Exactly.
And the
yes.
Revolutionary Guard is saying that they don't care at all about the economic pressures. The president there says he cares about the economic pressures, but you just said that the president is basically a figurehead.
He can care as much as he wants to be, but his element, he doesn't have any. None of the president had any power through his whole 47 years. You know that the supreme leader, which Khamenei was the head of him. Now I'm sure there is another one. They had many of them. They knew sooner or later he wasn't the. I mean, he wasn't a young buck. He was a very old. He was like a 90 something, and he was sick for many years. So I'm sure they found somebody as replaced. But definitely all of them under the control of Revolutionary Guard because they have the control of everything.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm going to give you my interpretation and tell me if I'm wrong. And that is that you have little regard for this or optimism about this new economic pressure as opposed to the military pressure on Iran having any positive effect, any positive effect at all.
Yeah, because the past economy, Iran economy been down the drain for what? For at least 30, 40 years. They thought this is the understanding of economy of Iranian. They did that. They thought if they add zero to each number, and it's big. When it was 1,000, and then become million, and then become trillion. But they didn't know adding zeros is not going to affect anything. Iran doesn't have economy. The money doesn't worth anything. They don't care. People go to the question
how much worse could it get?
Well,
you already hit rock bottom, is what you're saying.
Exactly, but I don't know how much it got worse. The worst time it was like 20, 30, 15 years ago. Now I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. It's all I hear, it's a bad stuff from everybody. Everybody. They are sitting and they saying, this regime need to go. And these outsiders sitting and they trying to negotiate. Negotiate with what? What are you going to get out of these idiots? They're not going to give anything. Back to you, sir.
So one of the things you said early on is that has to do with the regime not having to answer like our government has to answer to the people. The regime there doesn't have to answer to the people. So I would think that in a government where there is pressure from below up, from the people up to the government, economic squeeze affects, as we see here, the economic squeeze is affecting this midterm election. But in Iran, the economic squeeze may not affect who's in charge at all. And I don't know if that's a fair assessment, Alan, but that's basically what I am able to,
No, you're absolutely right. The economy, it doesn't, because they don't live in the same life they do. They have connection outside. They bring the stuff to them. They don't have to go to grocery buy, and they don't have to do anything. The economy pressure is not going to do anything. They have plenty money. It's out of Iran. I don't think so. It's affect them at all.
Thank you, Alan. We'll go to Scott, followed by Marshall.
All right, always struggling for the mic button, Gary. Always struggling for the mic button. Well said by Alan. I think Trump has been outplayed here. I think that they're negotiating from a position of strength. I think they're currently winning. I mean, in some sense, right? Like I would say, or at least I don't know if they're winning. I think we're losing. I don't know if that's possible for us to be losing without them winning. But you look at the first loss that we have here is apparently if you take the reporting seriously, which I have no reason not to. Any deal, it seems like it's going to involve some sort of service fees for the ships passing through the Straits of Hormuz, which we didn't have before, right? That's something that wasn't in play before, and now seemingly could be in play. They still have ballistic missiles. They're still producing deadly drones. They're still attacking shipping, and they're encouraging their proxies to attack. Look, the Houthis, I think, went so far as to attack. The Houthis went so far as to attack a ship in Egypt. I mean, I think that also the third thing, way in which I think we've lost here is that we've gotten rid of the people at the top of the regime, but the infrastructure has seemed to some degree to have prevailed and lasted, right? It's not, the infrastructure has not been brought to its knees. It's still functioning at some level. We might have a more militaristic government there now, actually, with the top of the regime out of commission. You might have a more militaristic regime with some weakened but useful clerics in the lurch. And lastly, I think our allies have watched with total confusion. And I mean, look, the confidence of our allies is eroded even more. I mean, this is not a thing, and this is part of, I think if you're a Trump supporter, this is maybe what you like, right? I mean, that he said it's, international and multilateral relations be damned, that America first, and that means at the expense of, these sorts of strategic alliances. So maybe some people might think that's a good thing, but I think, from my perspective, it's a loss. So all these things, I think strategically put us in a bad place, and I think they're negotiating, and also they just make him look foolish, right? I mean, I think they probably tell him, yeah, all right, we'll do this, and he comes in, we got a deal, we got a very strongly powerful deal, and then they just pull it back. It's like Lucy with Charlie Brown in football. I mean, that's it's a big Lucy Charlie Brown game. So I don't know, guy. I think Trump is getting played, and I think unless we're willing to commit a lot of resources to turn this around, resources I don't think Trump has the stomach for, and nor do the American people, I think we're going to continue to get played here. But thanks.
What I find interesting is I got 2 phone calls over the weekend, yesterday, from 2 of my friends who are MAGA folks. And they're very upset by what the president said in this article that I outlined today, yesterday's article in Axios. And, one of them said, well, we promised the Iranian people and then we let them down, which I think is probably true. I'm not arguing that we should have gotten into this in the first place, but I am saying that it's interesting to me that even MAGA folks, they've lost faith in this president. One of them said, this is his observation, not mine, that he seems to have lost his enthusiasm for anything. That he says he doesn't scream at reporters any longer. He says that's a bad thing. To me, of course, it's a good thing. I never liked when he did that. Thought it was unbecoming of a president. But he says that the bad thing because he's lost his spark. And he seems to not really care that much any longer. And that these decisions make him feel like the president doesn't even care for the things that he voted for, a strong president. Although many MAGA folks, of course, have diverged from the president for the exact opposite reason, I recognize, because they said he promised no more wars, no more foreign wars. And so I don't think he represents the entire MAGA base, but he is a MAGA Republican. The other one went so far as to say that he's considering voting Democratic for the first time in his life.
He and Nick Fuentes, Gary. He and Nick Fuentes.
Well, I wouldn't put either of these two gentlemen in the same box as Nick Fuentes. Their opinions are completely. They find Nick Fuentes very alienating to their point of view, but I actually didn't have the opportunity to delve into that statement to be able to give you some insight as to why he says, and it may just be a frustration that he is expressing right now because he was in support of the president's actions to try to free Iran. And he's disappointed in the president, and he said, so he says, I might just vote Democrat. Maybe when he goes into the voting booth, he won't, because he's so strong Republican. I don't think any time in his life, from what he's told me, he's ever voted Democratic. But I found that interesting.
Even the expression of the sentiment is interesting.
You're right. The expression of the sentiment is interesting.
That means something, right? That he's willing to say that to you. There's meaning to that, right?
Right. He was expressing his exacerbation with the situation. So who knows? I think a lot of people, when they get to that point, they just don't vote. When they don't know who to vote for, or maybe they just don't vote. I don't know. It'll be interesting in Michigan to see how people vote, or how many people for the first time don't vote because they have problems with both of those candidates for completely different reasons.
Well, people vote emotionally, right, Gary? And I think a lot of this DSA voted, and the left is emotional, right? I don't think most of these people have looked into the policies or understand socialism. It's just they want change. They're frustrated with Trump, and the Democrats don't look like change, right? The milquetoasty establishment. I mean, when you look up the opposite of change on Wikipedia, you see a big picture of Chuck Schumer. Okay.
Oh man, I was just going to say the same thing.
Great minds think alike, or crazy one.
Right, and this is why AOC may very well challenge him successfully.
If AOC gets the nomination, my prediction is the Democrats will lose 57 states, Guam, Mars, the whole shebang.
Well, then if I'm a Republican, I'm going to be the first to campaign for AOC. Right?
No, absolutely. No, look, I'm not. Look, it would not surprise me if Republicans help push El Sayed over the top, right? If I'm a Republican in a state with open primaries, man, and I got nothing to do, I got nothing interesting to vote for on my side of the aisle, why not jump in and cause some mischief?
Well, I think Republicans probably did, and I don't know. I haven't seen any analysis of this vote because it was an open primary for El Sayed, because they feel that he's easier to beat than Stevens would have been in a general election against Rogers there in Michigan. And that Michigan one, I know that's getting into the weeds for a lot of people who don't care about it.
You have to compare individual voters and their votes in the primary. You can track primary votes, you can't track general votes.
Right, well, I'm talking about the primary vote here. So I don't know how many, what analysis have been made about that. Probably there has been, and I just haven't seen it. And the reason we focus so much on this Michigan race, folks, is because that winning of that race may determine who controls the United States Senate in 2027. Thank you, Scott. We'll go to Marshall, followed by Tiger.
Yeah, I think the Iranians have us over a barrel. Made our Navy look bad. I don't know. Unless we commit to it, there's not much we can do, and we're not going to commit to it, so there's not much we can do. I don't find what we're doing to be very profitable. We're not in it to win it. And if you're not going to use
Marshall wants maximum war and devastation.
So,
Well, the stated goals, which have changed, which happens often with the United States, maybe it happens with other military campaigns of other countries, but the stated goal here, I don't think regime change was ever actually stated, it was implied. So let's set that one aside. That's difficult to obtain. But there were two other stated goals. One was, and this was as a result of the war, because the Strait of Hormuz was open until the war began, and then they countered the U.S. attack by, closing the Strait of Hormuz. So the more recent stated goals were the nuclear capabilities, and they would not have control of the Strait of Hormuz. And it seems that the latest negotiations are pointing us toward giving them a degree of control of the Strait of Hormuz, the Iranians, and because we need to get it open, And no movement on, at least in terms of anything that's being publicly discussed now, the nuclear issue. So who wins at the end of all of this? I mean, nobody wins in a war. I recognize that. And to suggest that Iran has not suffered immensely as a result of this war would be naive. But I'm just saying, in terms of the goals, if those are the two current goals, and then we allow for those goals to not be reached, does that at least not suggest, Marshall, that we've been played by them?
it suggests they may not be beating us, but we're certainly losing. Their advantages are they're the power in the region. They can react asymmetrically, and we have to sustain a forward presence. They can just push their resources out. Trying to maintain a forward deployed presence takes a lot of logistical time and a lot of logistical presence. And I don't think we have gotten a ton out of it. I tend to agree with Jim Mattis. We should have more allies than we should enemies. They should be with us in the fight. But we've also traded strategic gold for tactical victories. We have, prior to the Hormuz Strait being closed, everybody assumed if you closed it, the U.S. Navy would open it. Well, now it's shown that the U.S. Navy hasn't opened it, or that it's opened it for a while and then it's been closed again. Either one of those things presents us with this problem that the U.S. Navy is not as vaunted as it used to be because of that use. So I don't know if you can say they're winning, but I can certainly say that we're not getting much out of the deal.
You're
as bad as the Iranians are, and as much as I would like the people of Iran to be free, without major combat operations, which we don't have support for or the money for, I don't see how you do anything worthwhile.
You're making a distinction between tactical and strategic. Reminds me of Vietnam. There were a lot of tactical victories in Vietnam, but strategically, we know how that war ended.
What's his face walked around Westmoreland. He was